You know, the book is really a product of an exhibit called Into the Bluegrass Rifles of Frontier Kentucky. And as I started to write a catalog about this exhibit, the book just started to visualize. And before I knew it, I had over 200 pages and was well along on a book about the art and the artistry of historic icons from the state of Kentucky. My interest in the American long rifle and the history of Kentucky was just nurtured, and I've really spent my entire life somewhat as a historian and gathering up the stories about particular artifacts, if you will, that had belonged to special people. And what I wanted to do with the book was to stretch a tapestry. I wanted to stretch this cultural fabric of Kentucky. And I contend that the American long rifle, the Kentucky rifle, is the weft of that fabric. Because if it hadn't have been for this #1 tool of the day that was protecting the families, that was feeding the families, that was migrating from the western expansion, through the western expansion of America, all of the culture that we like to study and collect, the wonderful furniture, silver, art by Matthew Harris Jewett or Asa Blanchard's wonderful silver, the culture that supported that would not have existed if it hadn't have been for this weft of the Kentucky rifle that held the whole culture together at that time. This term, Kentucky long rifle, was used for these long-barreled, flintlock, graceful long rifles that were being used from the Revolutionary War all the way up through the War of 1812, and the Battle of New Orleans is probably when they started to become famous for the name. But even as early as 1803, this term Kentucky rifle was being used in London, Boston, New York, in the newspapers. That's one of the things I really wanted to do with the book, was to try to present it in such a way that people understood that it was an art form. It's been almost a climax, if you will, for my life to see these stories, these artifacts, to be put into a journal that one can hold in his lap and thumb through and really read and see the story of early Kentucky. Oh, that's wonderful. Wonderful. I'm so very honored